Hey guys, it's Bobby Chow here at the Ask Bobby Chow YouTube channel. Now, one question that's very important is why is 50% of the population affected by chronic diseases? And that number is continually rising. It's becoming quite severe. And why is that? Now, I'll tell you some stories. Back then, I used to be pre-diabetic. I would go and see a bunch of doctors. I had a bunch of different symptoms, a bunch of different issues, everything from like head fog to lack of energy to tiredness to difficulty concentrating, incontinence. If you know what that means, it means, basically you feel like you have to go all the time, whether it's through the front end or back end. Back end is called diarrhea. Sure, had that too. Had gut issues, tons of food allergies especially, and you'll notice if you have allergies, starting to have allergies to food, first thing to go is dairy, right? That's the first one that you're gonna experience it. Next one is wheat, especially anything under the gluten umbrella. So wheat is underneath gluten. In terms of a child is wheat, parent is gluten. So anything that contains gluten, um, anything, let's say if it's a wheat, then it's definitely a gluten, right? But gluten includes wheat and other products. And then things like shellfish, lobsters, even egg, some citrus fruits like oranges and stuff like that. Anything that's very acidic, lemon, um, Coca-Cola was a really bad one for me because it's so acidic. All right, so I had a bunch of food allergies, tons and tons of food allergies, and you wouldn't believe it. I couldn't eat any of that stuff. Otherwise, my symptoms would get flared up, and it was a difficult life, extremely difficult life. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Like it was severe, right? You can have anxiety. You can have. I dealt with my emotions more or less well. But yeah, I would consider probably depression would be there too, and quite a lot of, you know, quite a lot of problems to the point where it's like, when you have like 50 symptoms, you're like, is it worth living? It was a tough one, definitely. Now, having all those kind of ailments, issues, if you have um, 30 to 50 symptoms, I feel for you. I've been there. And that's one of the toughest things to go through. Now, when it comes to these kind of chronic illnesses, there's a lot of things that you can do. And there's a lot of things that you have to look at. And unbeknownst to me, for example, my diet, I thought my diet was fine. Right? I'm like, I've been eating this for forever, ever since I was born. Right? I mean, the diets have changed, of course, as I was a baby, growing up, but once it became like an adolescent, that's when, right, adolescent, that's when a lot of my diet changed as I started to grow older. But then from there, a lot of things were pretty static, typical kid eating cereal, sandwiches, had starches like rice or potatoes, tons of meat, a little bit of veggies, some fruits, and yeah, your diet makes a huge difference. You might not know that diet is causing a lot of your chronic problems, but that's definitely one factor. Lifestyle, you know, for myself, even before all the symptoms that I had, I thought I had a great lifestyle. Worked out a lot, did cardio, did a lot of weightlifting. I'm really big into fitness as well, and never really smoked, never really drank any alcohol. I mean, there's that phase where you're like 18 to 22, of course. You live it out, but other than that, it's like I'm not a person that, in fact, I don't even drink any more alcohol anymore. And yeah, had a pretty healthy, per se, lifestyle, and yet I was affected by like pre-diabetic, leaky gut syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome, all that kind of stuff. And to this day, I've gotten rid of all my symptoms, all of my ailments. And how did I do that? There's a lot of controversial topics and issues existing in the world today. And that's not an exaggeration. And a lot of things that you've been sold is very, very controversial. And that's why I'm not going to be disclosing all this information publicly, but I'll be setting up a program. And this program will be very, very useful for all those that have chronic illnesses. Because I can tell you about 80% of those could have been prevented. Now, when you see traditional doctors, although they want to help you, I'm just going to switch arms here, getting tired. Although traditional doctors are great in what they do, they're trying to be helpful. They're not taught in traditional school system how to deal with these chronic problems. It's just it is lack of knowledge. I mean, we're all ignorant. As long as we all accept that, then there's tons to learn, right? And I know I know more than many people know in their lifetime. I'm not saying that to gloat or to like jump on my ego bandwagon. I'm saying that because essentially, initially, I was forced to learn all this stuff daily, daily grind, learning. Because deep down, I believed, hey, I don't need to eat pills every single day to survive. All right, it's just against my system, my thoughts, my soul, completely 100%. And so I knew there were solutions, and solutions where my body can survive on its own without having to take prescriptions, because I was on prescriptions. And so, and now I'm completely off all of it. I've been off of it for the longest time. I have took tons and tons of herbal products, drawers and drawers full of it. And now I barely have any. I mean, I take some to help out because some of them can be useful, but I don't take very many at all. And I definitely don't take it regularly, because you don't need it regularly if you understand how the body works. And that's one thing, is this special program I'm going to create. And it likely will be on askbobbychow.com. I mean, the domain's been purchased, right? I am starting up the program. It will be available, and this is like nothing you've seen before. It compiles so much valuable information, and it's going to be a private program, right? I can't have it available to everybody, especially how controversial the information can be. So mark it down. I will try to have it up quick, fast, and furious, right? I'll be hiring a couple employees and contractors to get things set up quickly. But write that down, right? Jot it down on a sheet of paper. askbobbychow.com. Right, I'm going to be having different sections in there, right? Things about health, things about fitness, finances, how to think, right? Because I have tons. I have hundreds of mentors, hundreds of the best mentors in the world, in different areas of my life. And even all the things that I've learned, I would say about 50% of the things that I learned about health was through doctors, right? Whether it's naturopaths, holistic doctors, acupuncturists, traditional Chinese medicine, herbalists, if I haven't mentioned that already, and all these different types of like tapping, and all sorts of funky stuff, you might not even have heard of, bone therapy. And the other 50% of things that I learned was self-taught, self-experimented, self-taught. And that's the best way. I mean, I'm a human, you're a human. We do have slight differences, but hey, if it worked for me, chances are it's likely that it'll work for you as well. Very, very likely. And I don't doubt that for 1 second, because I know how valuable it has been for me. If I can clear all my 30, 40, 50 symptoms, get rid of all my chronic illnesses that doctor says, and they literally looked me in the eye and they said, listen, Bobby, we can't cure you. This isn't a curable. disease that you have. You need to be on a prescription, and you need to be on this prescription permanently for the rest of your life. Unfortunately, that's all I can help you with. And my heart sank when I heard that. Like, it absolutely sank. And I said, no effing way I'm going to allow this to happen. Right. And at that time, I was still super young, in my early 20s. And at that point, I thought I was knowledgeable. I thought I had good health, but it couldn't be close to the truth in terms of how far I was from that. In school, that's one of the things that you'll learn in this program. And again, just write it down, askbobbychow.com. Again, it's not set up yet, but it will be soon. Is you're going to have a little bit of anger. Anger because a lot of things I'm going to be teaching you is things that a lot of people, this world is in it for profits. There's a lot of things that's in it for profits. A lot of smart people in this world, like Ray Kroc, who invented McDonald's and a franchising off of the two brothers. Things like landing on Mars, things like 9/11, things like food, what type of food, things that you're putting into your mouth, things that are advertised. There's a lot of information, misinformation, that I will cover. And I will have one specifically, one section in my program specifically related to health. And I tell you guys, you're going to learn so much. Believe me, you're going to learn so much from this program that you have no idea of. And once you start to see your health swing around, I'm going to get so many testimonials and so many thank yous. And that's one of the things that I will be proud of. You know, I don't care to be a legacy, but I do want others to know how to handle their health. And that's one of the things that I want to touch back on is you're gonna get some anger. Because in school, we've never been taught so many things. Our traditional school system, we don't learn about, you know, how our body works. We learn names for our body parts, you know, knees, elbows, toes, head, eyes, nose. We put names to different body parts. But is there a manual, right, that we learn of how the body works? What's best to put into the body? How does the body run? Does it run on carbs? Does it run on fats? Does it run on protein? Right? How many calories do you need? How much calories does a person need? Is it different amongst different individuals? When you're starting to have health ailments, what's the real cause of it? Right? Even doctors, when they looked at my body, and I was sick like a dog, and they said, there's some apparatus in your body that's not functioning correctly. And I'm like, what apparatus? And they're like, I don't know. Let's go through and do CT scans, let's do blood work, let's do urine test. Let's put you into a special machine in a hospital that sees how your whole digestive system's working. Let's put barium down you. Let's do an endoscopy. Let's do colonoscopy. Let's do all these different exams. And I tell you, I rarely ever agreed to any of those exams ever again in my life. Because I know how my body works, and I know when my body's in health and when it is not. And a lot of those things doesn't even help in the first place, as long as you know how the body works, right? So you don't need colonoscopy, you don't need endoscopy. Unless you're having polyps. I mean, if you're eating well, you have a good lifestyle, and you really understand how your body works by going through my private program, you're not going to need any of that stuff. You're not going to need any of that stuff. I mean, you can do the occasional blood, urine work, etc. You know, look over your just a average review of some of the information about your body. But at the end of the day, a lot of that's not discovered. My blood work was like pristine. Yet I had 30 to 50 symptoms, right? So you tell me how much the blood work reveals. I mean, for things like cholesterol, right? For those of you who aren't, I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but cholesterol might be, you know, valuable, but biggest thing is your daily diet, right? I mean, you can look at your LDLs, which is your bad cholesterol, your HDL, which is good cholesterol. You can look at your triglycerides, which is the amount of soluble fat in your blood work, in your blood within your body. And it'll give you a good indicator. But at the end of the day, it's about lifestyle. So I'm going to end this off with letting you know that a lot of things that you'll be taught will be things I would give everything, like literally everything that I've attained. You know, this is my dream home. Had it built custom. I would give it up. You know, there's a lot of things in my life, materialistic, financial, that I would absolutely give up for this knowledge, because this is a lifesaver. It saved my life. And it took me 15 years, 15 plus years, daily grind of learning, self-experimentation, going to the best doctors. There's even a program that's called Best Doctors. I'm not sure if it still exists now, but it was called Best Doctors. And that program was available through my workplace. And what that is, I'm gonna want to switch hands here, getting tired. I gotta invest in one of those pods, but yeah, Best Doctors, and I think it was definitely one of the Ivy Leagues. It was either Harvard or Stanford, maybe even Berkeley, but there was a combination of the best Ivy League schools, and these were doctors that graduated from these schools. And I sent them my whole package of all, it's probably this thick, of my history of all the doctors I've seen in a period of, let's say, if I can recall, I think it was like 3-4 years before I started giving up on traditional doctors, but it's like this thick. Sent it all over to them. They reviewed the whole package and they looked at it, and their conclusion is surprising, right? They, again, it came back to irritable bowel syndrome, it came back to stress management, came back to the fact that there's no cure. So that tells you that the knowledge that I have to reverse all the ailments that I have is more valuable than any Ivy League, because they don't learn that there. They don't teach that there, and it's not available. So this type of information that I have, lifesaver. I think every human in this world should have access to this program. Now, there will be a cost, of course. I'll put a cost to that, because at the end of the day, when things are free, people don't see value, don't see worth in it, right? If I give you, whatever, a free watch, you know, you might be like, you know, I got this watch for free. You'll probably take care of it less, right? Let's say if I give you a Rolex. But if I give you a Rolex and I say, you know, it's worth $7,000, but I will sell to you for $1,500 just because I know you. And we've developed that kind of friendship. Then you might still see it as highly valuable because you paid $1,500 for it. You'll still think it's valuable. Now, I haven't decided how I'm going to price the program out, but I'm going to make it as affordable as possible for everybody, so it's accessible. Again, there's so much misinformation out there that I just can't put it out available publicly, as you would probably understand. So I'm gonna start cutting it short here because both my arms are starting to get sore. And today's my workout day too. But anyways, yeah, very valuable information that you never learn in school. They don't teach this stuff in school at all, right? Anything from, you know, grade school all the way up to college. You reflect on it. What did you learn in school about health? Right? I'm not sure what age group you are. When you're viewing my video here, but what I learned is the 4 food groups. All right, you got to eat your whatever it is, your meat, poultry. Right, you got to eat your dairy products. Right, and then you got to eat your fruits and vegetables, and then your grain products. 4 food groups. Right, and that is taught in the US, it's taught in Canada, it's likely taught in most of the developed countries, right? And that model has been changed multiple times. But I can tell you that you'll be surprised, extremely surprised, what the body functions on and how the food products have changed so drastically over even a period of five years, right? And especially 10 years. Our food has changed so much that yeah, I even heard of people who I've talked to, and they're like, yeah, I've always ate cereal growing up, so I'm going to feed cereal to my kid. And that's your prerogative. If you think that's fine, then that's fine. But nonetheless, you know, your kid doesn't have knowledge. You as a parent would have the knowledge, and it is within your duty to help your own offspring as much as you can. So the more you can learn, the more you'll be able to give your child and yourself and your family and your loved ones and your friends, everybody around you, the knowledge they need to have a very healthy, energetic lifestyle. And I tell you that my bill of health is extremely clean, not because it came as a fluke or as, you know, a draw of luck. Maybe there is a little bit of luck factor in there, but the biggest thing is knowledge. If I didn't learn all this stuff and I didn't put it into practice, my health would not be 100% the way it is right now. So I want to keep it at that. I know it's probably the longest video that I've had so far, and all this is done live, right? I don't script it. I don't pre-prepare for it. And that's maybe one of the things that that I'll have. I have quite a few things that I'll have on askbobbychow.com. Health, number one, I'm going to put up there, right? I'm going to put up things on there on self-improvement. For myself, I've done countless amounts of presentations, instructions, coaching, life coaching, doing variety of business conferences, business work, whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, even stuff like this, without scripting it, going to the camera, going live, it's a skill. It's a skill that can be learned. I mean, I wasn't born with it, can be learned, can be practiced, and you get good at it. And same thing with your health. The more you learn, the more you practice, the more you can take control of your life and have a complete understanding. Because I can tell you right now, easily over 50% of people in this world don't know much about their health. I'm not saying that to make fun of you or to put you down. I'm sure you're very intelligent, but we just don't learn this stuff. And if your health is already, you know, in the shits and you want to improve it, it's a long road to learn all about health. Right? It took me 15 years daily, and I was feeling like shit every day. And doctors couldn't help me. And I spent thousands, maybe even tens of thousands. Now that I'm adding it up in my head, absolutely tens of thousands. 50,000 to 100,000, easily. And I'm gonna package all this together for you so that you'll see all of this information. I'll probably put it in a series of videos. I haven't planned it out in full detail yet. I just have a high overview of what I plan to do. But value, definitely you're gonna get value out of this. Even if you're completely healthy, right? A lot of things that you're doing will catch up with you if you're doing it on a daily basis and you're not aware that it's actually damaging your health. So I'm gonna keep it at that. Yeah, stay tuned. That's all I can say. I can't give you a time as to when it's gonna be up at askbobbychow.com, but write that domain down. And I'll start having a group of my guys getting that ready and available. Right, it will take some time because I still have to compile all the information. I'll still be the author, of course, because that's the most important thing, is having someone who's knowledgeable and have authority in that industry to be presenting to you that information. Okay, until next time, guys, I'm just gonna check out here, and good talking to you guys again. Until next time.